early.
It's in there.
It's title time!
Welcome in, guys, to the AZ Wildcats podcast, live from Studio K, presented by our friends over at Circle K. We wanted to cut that countdown just a little bit short for you, Kevin, because guess what? We just wanted to talk some Wildcats basketball with all of our best friends in the entire world. We got 51 of our best friends in the chat right here off the top. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel. I am Damon Fairall. This is Kevin Thomas. We got producer Kyle pressing buttons, rooting on his cats behind the scenes here. Kyle just giving fist bumps for the boys.
Whoa.
As the Arizona Wildcats take down Texas Tech Red Raiders 86-80. And Kevin, how we living on a Arizona Wildcats championship bound night?
Kyle, cut the beat, man.
Let it ride a little bit. I was loving it.
I got something to say.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Caleb Love experience is so back. It might have never gone anywhere.
I love it.
Caleb Love is a hooper, y'all. Oh my God. The threes, Damon, the alley-oop.
I love it.
Man, the Arizona Wildcats definitely handled some business tonight. It wasn't all good. But it was a very, very entertaining game. And
I'd say it was a largely overwhelmingly positive performance, though.
It was. Yeah. But I think that we're going to get into it. But I think them cutting the lead down at times, like we knew they were going to punch back, but Arizona rolled with all the punches. And Damon, we're going to have a new Big 12 champion. A first-time Big 12 champion. Houston's second year in the league. Arizona's first year in the league. It's gonna be a fun game tomorrow night. But we have a game tonight to talk about. Damon, what were some of your takeaways from the victory? How are you feeling? I'm feeling absolutely electric, as the folks at home can tell. How are you feeling?
I think this is the best place to start it off. I put in my show tweet tonight, Kevin. I think Caleb Love is the place that we need to start. He puts up 27 points tonight, 5 rebounds, 5 of 8 from 3, 10 of 15 from the field, Kevin. And I think, I looked at you right before the show started and I said, I never gave up on him.
You never did. To your credit, you're right.
Hand up. I think you can say the same thing.
Yeah,
I think I
wavered.
Maybe a little bit.
In his shot specifically, I wavered. If I'm being true,
I think you were saying that he maybe needs to switch up his approach, but
yes.
You never were like, man, Caleb Love is losing us these basketball games.
I would never.
I think a lot of this fan base, especially the more pessimistic side of the fan base, looked at Caleb Love as kind of public enemy number one for a lot of Arizona's problems. But Caleb Love, for as much as, when Arizona struggles, he might be at the forefront of it. When Arizona's playing its best basketball, he is also at the forefront of that. And we saw that tonight. Really controlled the game against a team that, albeit a Texas Tech team that, was a little bit shorthanded, Kevin. Missing a couple, key contributors for them tonight. But Arizona should have taken care of business. They went in there and they did take care of business. And it was behind the back of, their senior, most experienced player, played in a ton of big games, giving you 27 points tonight. Gotta love what you saw out of Caleb Love.
Does this mean that it's actually Caleb Love's city? Does Zeke Mayo lose the key to the city after tonight?
I saw you and Erica talking about that a little bit.
I mean, this is the time of year where everyone loves to unleash "this is my city."
Yeah.
After it made 3,
Caleb Love doesn't want Kansas City to be his city.
because he grew up in the cool part of Missouri, St. Louis. So I feel like, you know what I mean? Also,
talk to him, Kevin.
Also,
St. Louis mentioned.
Because we have St. Louis mentioned. Because we have a lot of, also 314 day, but we have a lot of conversation about the Las Vegas to Kansas City situation, Damon. I feel like we should talk a little bit more about that because did you see the videos? One of them I retweeted pregame of the empty stands just because of K-State or a Kansas, is not in the games. No one's going to show up. Oh, wait, it's because it's actually not near any of the schools competing.
I heard legitimately that Iowa State fans and Kansas fans represented about probably over 50% of the fans in Kansas City. And it's funny, I had a tweet that, was receiving a lot of pro responses, but a lot of also, negative responses. And every single one of those people that was disagreeing with me, Kevin, was basically a Kansas fan.
Yeah.
Throw in a couple of Tech fans, that like it in Kansas City. Throw in an Iowa State fan here and there, but it's overwhelmingly it was fans of the team that it's closest to, and it makes sense, right? Like they love it. They love having it there. We played Kansas last night, Kevin. It was essentially a road game.
Yeah,
I mean the fans were going crazy in there, so. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense why they want it to stay in Kansas City. It definitely shouldn't stay in Kansas City for all of the million reasons that were mentioned. But yeah, that's hopefully Arizona can win it here, and the Big 12 can do something about that lease that they have.
Yeah. Also, Eduardo, I did see your comment. I don't know if Damon saw it, but I saw it, and it's funny. But no, Damon, we're going to be talking a lot more about obviously Big 12 tournament stuff and whether or not it should be in Kansas City over the next couple of years, because obviously it might not be moving until 2031, which is an insane. It's an insane notion to me. But Damon, our Cats are in the final of this
let's get back to the real
tournament.
business at hand.
They played it. Let's just call a spade a spade. Texas Tech was by far not its strongest side tonight. I also want to say my sincerest condolences to all Texas Tech fans because they went through this last year in the semifinal. They were missing a player last year. Pardon me for forgetting the player that was missing him. Actually, might have been Darrion Williams, but I don't know. They missed two major players tonight, Chance McMillian and Darrion Williams, both out of the lineup tonight. Saul will be joining us later, Roderick, with some analysis and some clips from the locker room as well. So stay tuned for that. But this was an undermanned Texas Tech team. This was not their strongest side, and we've seen all year when Texas Tech is at full strength, they're one of the best teams in the country. And they still gave Arizona a run for their money at times in this game, but to Arizona's credit, like you alluded to, they rolled with all the punches. And every time Texas Tech tried to come back into the game, tried to edge into the game, they're a good team. They're going to keep it close. They only won by 6 tonight, Arizona did, right? But credit to Arizona for handling those punches from an undermanned Texas Tech team. I thought JT Toppin was, well defended. Christian Anderson, that kid is so special. For really a freshman to be able to do what he's able to do, he's very smooth on the ball, very confident on the ball as well. So, yeah, man. Overall, this was a game, like you said on Twitter, Arizona needed to win this game to prove that they're a serious basketball team. To quote Erica Day in the chat as well, if you're a serious basketball team, this is a game that you win because you're facing an undermanned.
Did Erica say that?
No, I feel like Erica's just always saying, like, if you're serious about this.
I basically did say that word for word.
No, yeah, you did, but I'm saying I think she says that about like everything.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So I'm stealing Erica's take.
Maybe, who knows? But point is, Arizona, serious basketball team, did the thing tonight, Damon. And to both you and Erica's points, they handled business. And now, to quote Caleb Love, they got to put the hard hats on tomorrow.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's funny giving Erica the credit for a take that I legitimately did say out loud, but I'm with it. But I will say, Kevin, you started that off by saying your condolences to Texas Tech fans for having to endure this 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
I'd like to specifically not give my condolences to Texas Tech fans because they are some of the loudest fans that we've encountered in the Big 12. I love them and I love their passion, but I don't feel bad for them in the slightest. And I'm totally okay with the way things played out tonight. They'll be back for the tournament. I don't think that those injuries seem like that they're going to be lingering for, at the end of their season here. But I'm not going to apologize for winning these basketball games, Kevin. Give me all the W's.
Yeah, no, and I'm with you. And I am with you. I want to clear on that. I'm not really out here crying for Texas Tech in their loss because they're a hell of a team and they got their own future that they're building, whatever.
I understand that. I
guess I was saying, when you are in these positions, I know we would both feel the same way if our team was like missing a Carter Bryant for one of these games.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we're missing a ADO or something. Not to compare McMillian to ADO. I think McMillian's a better player than ADO. But you get my point, right? We would be gutted having to deal with a less than full strength team against a team that we think we could beat, right?
Very real take, Kevin. I just am trying to get out in front of this idea of, I specifically do not feel bad for Texas Tech fans.
Yes.
My condolences have never been on the table. Kevin, you put them on the table here. I took them away, put them in my pocket. Mm-hmm. They'll never see them. And I just wanted to make that very clear.
Yeah.
That's really all it comes down to.
I'm with you, Damon. That's why we work so well together. A little bit of yin and yang there as well. Should we break down the numbers in this game, Damon? Should we hit our by the numbers here?
Let's do it.
Let's go to our by the numbers presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, your #1 credit union as rated by Forbes. An 86-80 W for the Wildcats, sending them to the title game in the Big 12. They outshot Texas Tech by a fair margin in this game, 51-43 in the field goal percent, 50-32 in the 3-point percent. And I want to talk about that a little bit more after we get out of this graphic. But tied the assists, turnovers, Arizona had 2 more turnovers than Texas Tech. And then the rebounds, Arizona just slightly edged them out tonight. Damon, does anything on that graphic stand out, or do you want to go off the grid?
Well, I mean, I think the 3-point field goal percentage is what, is the stark contrast there, Kevin. As this game started, Arizona got off to a really hot shooting start. Then Texas Tech came roaring back. They hit, I think, about four threes in 5 attempts.
Felt like it
at one point towards the beginning there. And, this was a close game at that point. I would say that, from that point on, basically Texas Tech couldn't make any threes, and Arizona was still shooting at a very highly efficient rate. So I think that was the real difference in the game here. Obviously, if Texas Tech has, McMillian, their 3-point shooting, their perimeter shooting is very much hurt by that fact. But I think that the perimeter shooting from Arizona tonight was the big difference in this game.
Yeah, and I wanted to note that Texas Tech shot under 40% from the field in both of the regular season matchups between these two sides. But the 3-point defense, as you were talking to, you alluded to it there. They're a very strong 3-point shooting team, Texas Tech. The number 19 team in the country entering play tonight in terms of 3-point percentage, while also averaging a high volume of 10 made threes per game. So Texas Tech can shoot the lights out, and I think Arizona did a great job, obviously, albeit Texas Tech undermanned, of making sure that the threes weren't always open, that there were tough contests there as well.
Yeah.
I think the closeouts were pretty decent to good for almost the entirety of the night, Damon. I was really pretty impressed with the way that Arizona's game plan worked defensively in this matchup, specifically the 3-point defense, but also the defense on JT Toppin in this game I thought was incredible. In the first half specifically, it was clear what the game plan was. As soon as Toppin got the ball in the post, if he put that ball on the ground, Jaden Bradley or the nearest guard was missiling right at him to try to steal that ball. And I think the traps and the doubles off of the dribble on JT Toppin were incredibly effective in the first half, really made it uncomfortable for him to get a rhythm. And you know that coming in, that Texas Tech, their one way to success in this game was either, I guess, Eliah Hawkins just going nuclear, I guess, but mostly JT Toppin doing JT Toppin stuff as a player of the year in the conference. A great player as well, double-double machine. But he was not that tonight. 6 rebounds, 11 points on 4 for 13 from the field. JT Toppin was. I was really impressed with how Arizona game planned defensively overall in this game. Damon, how did you feel about JT Toppin and how Arizona defended him?
It looked honestly like JT Toppin was not, feeling his best tonight.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
I think it was pretty clear JT Toppin not 100%. Shouldn't be something that I think debilitates him in the tournament. But I really think, I mentioned the perimeter shooting, Kevin. I think the other side of that coin is that Arizona won the front court battle tonight.
Yes. Points
in the paint, Arizona wins 40-28 versus Texas Tech. And I think that, Henri Veesaar taking over that second half was really the difference in the game. As we've been used to saying at this point, Kevin, like, I feel like every other post-game show we come into, it's like, yeah, remember when, the last 5 minutes, Henri Veesaar just completely took over the basketball game?
Dude, in half...
It's wild to watch, dude.
In the first half, Veesaar, 2 points on 1 for 2, 15 minutes with 3 boards, 2 assists. Decent half, but a little... No, I'm just saying decent, 3 boards, 2 assists. He's involved, but not really notable, right? Second half, he comes through 8 points, 7 shot attempts, 4 boards, no assists, but he got those in the first half. Picks up 2 fouls in the same amount of minutes played, 15 minutes in both halves. So that totally illustrates your point, right? He had an all right first half, but that second half really made his impact felt.
Yeah, I love watching Henri Veesaar play basketball. I say it all the time. I feel like at this point, like, I'm even a little bit harder on him now. I think that at the beginning of the season, when you watch games with me, like, there'll be moments where I'm like, it looks like he's a little bit lost out there. Like, maybe he didn't give full effort. And I feel like, the ceiling of a Henri Veesaar is so high, Kevin. And we've seen what it does. Like, when he's playing his game, it's the most impactful thing on the court, I think. Like, I've watched it enough this season of him being like the X factor in these games. A guy that most Arizona fans didn't even have expectations to be really in the rotation at the beginning of this season. And yet he's, even coming off the bench, he's basically closing out every single game for Tommy Lloyd at this point, has been for the better part of 2 months now. And it just, it continually, I feel like when Henri Veesaar goes, so does the Arizona Wildcats.
And to your point, not to cut you off, sorry, I feel like I cut you off all the time, but
I feel like you do a good job of saving me actually when I have nothing longer to say.
I got you.
I was about to transition out of that, and you just read it properly.
But I was gonna say, I feel like Henri Veesaar can, night in and night out, really alter the ceiling of Arizona. Right? He can really alter, because again, we know who Caleb Love is night in, night out. We know who Jaden Bradley is night in, night out, and KJ Lewis as well. serious injury to his hand or not, right? Or the wrist or not. He's bringing it night in, night out. I mean, tonight, KJ Lewis absolutely stuffed the stat sheet. We'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
Yeah. But I mean, Henri Veesaar, I feel like is the one guy that I think if he brings his A game, right, that totally shifts the ceiling of Arizona basketball, right? Because Caleb Love, again, we know the ceiling is already up here. We know he can do what he did tonight and totally take over a game and change the momentum and do all of that. But Henri Veesaar, it's again, incredible player. A little bit more of a question as to whether or not he's going to dominate night in, night out.
Yeah.
And I think when you're playing an undermanned front court, missing probably their best front court guy, you got Federico playing increased minutes. He played, I think, 13 minutes total against Baylor or something like that. He picks up 2 early fouls. So this was a game where Henri Veesaar had to do his job, and he did his job to a high level. And yeah, Damon, I love Henry the Hammer. Shout out to people in the chat that be calling him Henry the Hammer. I love that. And shout out to Eduardo Aguirre, who says, Kevo, you better get some Aguirre. My bad. But yeah,
that's
Aguirre,
what I'm here for, brother.
It is. See, I'm here to save you for that.
You're a Midwest guy. You're a Midwest guy. I'm from Arizona. This is what I'm here for.
Yeah. So shout out to Damon for saving me there. But Eduardo, I think I'm gonna get some pretty decent sleep right now. But if you don't know what we're talking about, my sleep depends on the likes in the chat by you guys. If you guys like this video, get the likes up, then I will get some good night's rest. Turn it up. But if you guys don't like this video, I probably will not sleep tonight, and I'll probably be up all night watching Trey Townsend highlights because it's March. It's tournament Trey. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm sorry, Eduardo. I definitely did. Yeah. But
should we make a highlight edit of Trey Townsend in March?
Yes.
That would go hard.
Me and the devil.
Exactly. You got it. Of course, we talked about Henri Veesaar, and I feel like the next thing that we, of course, naturally have to talk about is the stock market, Kevin.
Yes.
So why don't we go ahead and hit that stock market?
Let's do it.
Arizona with 6 steals tonight to Texas Tech's 6 steals, and then 5 blocks to 5 blocks. It is a exact perfect tie between the Arizona Wildcats and Texas Tech Red Raiders on the stock market tonight, Kevin.
Hey, man. We're going to talk a little bit about
them all, man.
We're going to talk a little bit about money in between the break here after this, but I just want it known that I don't know a lot about the stock market, but I do know that sometimes you don't always got to buy or sell. Sometimes you just got to hold. You know what I mean? And Arizona didn't win the stock market battle tonight, but they didn't lose their money in the stock market, and that's what matters most.
That's as good as a win, almost.
Yes, that is as good as a win. Not losing money is just as good as making money sometimes. And Damon, I think that while they didn't win the stock market battle, and we talked about their defensive acumen already in this one, but I think that them not getting more steals almost surprises me because of the intensity that they were playing with, especially in the first half of this game, Damon. So yeah, Arizona ties in the stock market, but their defense was incredible. This is the defense that we wanted to see a couple weeks back when the defense just totally disappeared. And this is a question I wanted to ask you. We can talk a little bit about this more after the break, but I'm going to ask Damon whether he thinks Arizona has flipped a switch. So stay right here on the AZ Wildcats post-game show right after this quick break. Damon, oh man, I'm a hyped guy this time of year, and it's March. And, when you get hyped, I'm a sweaty guy. Sometimes you got to stick with your deodorant on you at all times. And I do that with our friends over at Mando. That's how I stay fresh head to toe. It's also how John Anik, famous commentator for the UFC, stays fresh head to toe.
Ever heard of him?
I don't know if you ever heard of that little guy, but he be doing his thing. But I think that he keeps his deodorant wipes from Mando in his car at all times when he's going in between venues and in and out of venues. So when, he's in a nice clothing, you got to freshen up. So stay head to toe with our friends over at Mando. Check out their starter pack. You can obviously use our code of PHNX for $5 off of that starter pack, which equates to 40% off of a starter pack, which comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash or those deodorant wipes that, hey, you can put anywhere because Mando is a full body deodorant. It can go in your armpits, your back, your crack, your stomach folds, your neck rolls, whatever you got, Mando can go on it. So stay fresh head to toe with our friends over at Mando. Head to shopmando.com and use code PHNX when you check out and tell them Kevo sent you.
Kevin, you're going to be needing those when you head on over to the BetMGM Sportsbook at Gila River Resorts and Casinos for this March Madness. You're going to be needing that Mando because I'm going to tell you, boys, it's getting sweaty inside of that at BetMGM Sportsbook. And when I say that, I mean because the bets are just going to be flying off the table. Is it a winner? Is it a loser? I'll tell you what, if you want to win big, you need to go to Gila River Resorts and Casinos. They have the biggest sports book in the state of Arizona, the BetMGM Sportsbook at Wild Horse Pass. They also have it at Santan Mountain, as well as open seating at Lone Butte and V Kiva. Those other ones at Wild Horse Pass and Santan Mountain, you're going to have to book your seating for. But it's going to be electric inside of those casinos to watch some March Madness basketball. Make sure you guys hit up the Upper Deck Kitchen and Bar. That's where we do our watch parties. Check out if we have any upcoming watch parties at Gila River Resorts and Casinos on our events tab at gophnx.com. And of course, we have some Suns watch parties going on there at all times. I love Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details.
Nothing better than a spot that tells you you do you. Like, hey, we really have.
We don't want you to be nobody else.
We have some rules and guidelines, but at the end of the day, we want you to be yourself here, and that's beautiful.
Yeah, don't be anybody else. But
don't be anybody else. And you know who else I feel like when I'm talking to, I want to say that to? Caleb Love.
Yeah.
This whole year we've been telling Caleb Love.
He doesn't need anybody to say that to him, though, Kevin.
He knows. He wakes up every day and says, I'm me. I'm him. I can do this. I believe in myself. But yeah, Caleb Love was himself tonight, Damon Dog. And let's start this conversation with who you think should be our player of the game, because we do have a king of the court to delineate here. King of the court, Caleb Love, 27 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, a huge alley-oop as well on the feed from Jaden Bradley.
Heard around the world.
Indeed, certainly heard around the Big 12. Caleb Love, an incredible night, an incredibly efficient night from Caleb Love. Excuse me. 10 for 15 from the field, 5 for 8 from 3. The man was on fire tonight, Damon Dog. How did you feel watching Caleb Love absolutely hoop tonight?
Absolutely should be player of the game. King of the court, I should say. I think very warranted. Caleb Love is going to be what makes his team go, and as this tournament rolls on, Kevin, honestly, I think that's what it comes down to is, we knew we were going to live and die with Caleb Love to an extent, right? Like against Clemson last year in the tournament, for example, Caleb Love had one of, if not his worst game of the entire season, and it cost Arizona its season, right?
Yes.
But as I said earlier in the show, the best version of this team involves Caleb Love hitting these types of shots at this rate, taking a bunch of shots, taking the most shots on the team. Like that is the formula for this basketball team. So Caleb Love, love to see it, love to, no pun intended, like just love the fact that, he's gonna, keep taking these shots and hopefully find that form a little bit as we roll into the championship game against Houston tomorrow, as well as, just the tournament in general. I think there's not a better time in the world for Caleb Love to, have potentially his best game of the entire season when you factor in the competition, Kevin.
Yeah. I mean, Eduardo said it in the chat, or actually, no, it was basketball and football guy that said, is this Caleb Love's overall best game as a Wildcat?
You said like earlier, similar vibes when you were like, I feel like I cut you off a lot, which by the way, I feel like I do the same, but I feel like I be saying stuff sometimes in basketball and football guy.
Yeah, you guys are definitely on the same page.
He types it in the chat as I'm in the middle of
I've noticed that too.
This is like the third or fourth time this has happened. So, just at home, I'm just, me and basketball and football guy just kind of connecting here.
Hey, I mean, that's what we bring to the table. We are you. We are the fan. So, yeah. But we were talking about Caleb Love, and I think...
Well said, Kevin.
I don't know. Appreciate you.
We make it better to be an Arizona sports fan, actually.
We make it more fun, especially, yeah. But I think, Damon, what impressed me most about Caleb Love tonight was that he had the efficient game he had while also playing incredible defense on a tough guy to guard like Eliah Hawkins, switching on to dudes. They were, you talked about it, the James Harden, Trey Young, Chris Paul style of, smaller guard dribbling into the paint, backing it up, trying to draw a foul.
Yeah.
Caleb Love dealt with that pretty well. This is by far his best defensive season across the board.
Yeah, he's been great.
He didn't get the steals or the blocks tonight to statistically prove that, but he was all over the place defensively. Everybody's hands on Arizona were super active. I was really impressed with that. But to wrap up the Caleb Love conversation, the Caleb Love experience is so back. It is so back, Damon Dog. I'm ready for a month of this from Caleb Love. And if it's not a month of this, that is probably okay. But if he gives us a month of this, oh my God, I'm over the moon.
If he gives us a month of this, Kevin, this team is going big places. And I don't mean to,
that's the ring finger for those at home.
We're in a weird spot here, right? Because Arizona, wasn't exactly playing its best basketball to end out this season.
Yes.
Is basically 50-50 win-loss, the final 9 games or so of the season, Kevin. But they had an opportunity going into this Big 12 tournament with the teams that they would have to play in their route to potentially winning this thing, right? And even I think at this point, even if they don't beat Houston tomorrow, it was still a success of a Big 12 tournament. They ultimately helped their seeding in this tournament. But you had to go through Kansas, Texas Tech, and then Houston potentially to win the Big 12 championship, Kevin. Yeah. And I think that raises the expectations of this team going into the NCAA tournament just that much higher. Like, what can they accomplish, right? And if Caleb Love, he's the guy that's going to get them there at the end of the day. Maybe Trey Townsend? Well, we could talk a little bit about Trey Townsend, Kevin. Trey Townsend.
Let's do it. Tournament Trey,
Mr. March. Trey Townsend, another good game tonight. 12 points, 4 of 8 from the field, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 5 boards. I mean, this dude, what has gotten into Trey Townsend, Kevin?
I think the month of March has gotten into Trey Townsend.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I think once he changed over the calendar, like at his home, and it was a couple days after, they played a couple games to end the year where Trey Townsend wasn't his best. But once he started playing Kansas, maybe he's one of those guys like me. I have a Bob Ross calendar in the office where I flip it over every day. It's a new Bob Ross piece. Maybe but I always forget. And maybe Trey Townsend's like me, where we got a week into March and he was like, oh, crap, I got to flip my calendar.
Damn, it's March?
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was like February 31st. It's not a leap year?
I'm supposed to
be good at basketball. And no one told me it wasn't a leap year. I thought it was a leap year the whole time. He flips it, plays Kansas, and now he's tournament Trey Townsend that we all know and love. Someone said it in the chat that this is the first time that they've been excited. I think it might have been Sean.
It was Sean, yeah.
But someone in the chat said that about how this is the first time they've been excited about the addition of Trey Townsend all season. And I think that kind of speaks to the journey that this guy has been on with this basketball team and this transfer decision he made to come play for a premier organization or program, I guess, like Arizona basketball.
Yeah.
And it's great. We've talked about it before. It's great to see Trey Townsend get what he's worked for in a way with some good performances. I think I had it here. He's averaging 14 points over his last couple games here. Yeah, Trey Townsend's averaging 14.5, 5, and 65 from the field, while 3 of 5 from the three-point line over his last 2 games, both being against Kansas, but he had a good game tonight as well. So shout out to Trey Townsend because this team needs Trey Townsend, right? Like you need, in March, you have to be hitting on all cylinders, firing on all pistons, to go back to the car analogy from off air. But Trey Townsend's a huge part of that. Trey Townsend, the tablet in the car. Really keeping all your information central.
The navigation system.
Yeah, Trey Townsend is the navigation system because you can navigate on your phone like with a little like the thing you can plug into.
Does it make life easier?
Yep, when you have the CarPlay right there. So yeah, moving and grooving, jetting and jiving are the Arizona Wildcats. And Damon Dog, we're gonna have Saul join us here in a little bit.
Yeah,
I believe. And I wanted to ask you this question pregame, but I wanted to save it for the show. Do you think that Arizona is kind of proving with the Big 12 tournament that this is a team that can flip the switch when it's necessary and can turn it on? Because you and I have had back and forth conversations about me being like, I don't know if this is a team that can just turn it on when it needs to be turned on. And I think you've kind of felt differently. Am I right?
I'd say other than the Duke game this season, Kevin, I really haven't felt that Arizona's been outmatched in any game this entire rest of the season.
Correct.
I feel like they play up and down to their competition no matter who they're going against. And so when you're playing these really high caliber teams consistently, like the Big 12 presents itself, that leads to playing Kansas's tight, Texas Tech's tight, Houston tight, BYU tight. Like I think that, Arizona has proven that in these big time games, other than the Duke game, that they're in it fully and they haven't gotten, walked off the floor in any of those games. So, I think it proves that Arizona is, that they're able to kind of play up to their competition in any of these games. I don't think that there's any team that Arizona should be like scared of matching up against from a talent standpoint. But yeah, I think it just is about that consistency aspect of things. Can you play a full 40-minute basketball game?
Yeah,
I think is the problem that this team has in particular, because they have those 3 to 5 minute lapses here and there consistently, and I think that's really the Achilles heel of this team. But in general, I think that they definitely can play up to their competition. They definitely flip the switch when the moment is a little bit tougher. And it'll be interesting to see how they come out tomorrow against a Houston team that, quite literally stepped on BYU's throat from the jump tonight. and basically ended that game about 10 minutes into the game. So
Cougar on Cougar crime.
Houston is playing their best basketball as well. So it's going to be an incredible matchup. I can't wait for it.
Damn it! It feels like Houston's always playing their best basketball.
Do they ever not play their
That's
best
what I'm
basketball?
saying. Like you said that, and I'm just like, damn it! Can we catch them on a bad day? Like, you know what I'm saying? Can we catch them with two of their best players not playing? You know, I'm not wishing injury, but you know what I mean. Like you get my point here.
Yeah.
It feels like you're always facing Houston when Houston is rolling and just rolling through teams. But yeah, I'm ecstatic for that game. I cannot wait. It's going to be absolutely electric. I think in terms of the flipping the switch conversation, Damon, I think this tournament's kind of convincing me a little bit that this team is one that can flip it on when they need to flip it on. Mm-hmm. But you referenced the droughts, the scoring droughts and the runs and whatnot. Those have kind of gone away, Damon. In fact, I feel like they've completely gone away. And I feel like that is a credit to Arizona's shot selection. I said it a couple games ago that if Arizona, I think it was actually against ASU, ironically, that if Arizona can then hunt shots the way they were hunting shots against some of the worst teams in the conference, then if they can find a way to facilitate mid-range shots, floaters from Caleb Love, little mini oop plays, the simple stuff. If they can find ways to do that against Houston and Texas Tech and Iowa State, then they're going to be rolling. And it feels like they're starting to unlock this offense in a real way. Saul's been kind of cheekily referencing that maybe Tommy Lloyd has some hidden sets that he wants to not let see film.
That'd be electric
until it matters most. But if it does feel like Saul's onto something with that, it feels like Tommy Lloyd's starting to unlock the offense, and he's had a full season to see what he can and can't do, and now he's breaking out all the tricks. So I'm excited for March Tommy Lloyd adjustments. I'm excited to see what the game plan looks like.
You mentioned,
and it does feel like they can flip the switch,
Kevin, that I wanted to hit on real quick before we move past it. Caleb Love, those floaters.
Ooh.
Those were money tonight, Kevin. And I don't think it can be understated how important those are to this team's success offensively, especially in the half court, right? This is a team that, we've seen all season long, Kevin, is transition-wise, they're unbelievable.
One of the best in the nation.
Yeah, they're elite. They're one of the best teams in the country when it comes to, getting on the run and getting in transition. But half court, sometimes things look a little bit jangled. If Caleb Love can take dudes off the bounce and hit that floater at a consistent rate, Kevin, that is such just an infusion of lifeblood into this offense that, we haven't seen all season long in the half court perspective because, we've been talking about it, Kevin. He leaves a lot of those short. He's been leaving them short all season long.
Not one of his floaters has been long all season.
I'm not sure that he hit the rim tonight on the floater, Kevin.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
He was in flow state tonight. Like it felt like Caleb Love just no matter what he put up, he couldn't miss.
Yeah, it really was a magnificent performance. But I feel like that floater is so huge and something to monitor as we continue through in postseason play here. Kevin, is just, can he keep that shot consistent? Can he hit that shot at a consistent rate? Because I feel like these guards in the tournament, especially experienced guards who have been here before, hitting shots like that, contested floaters like that, those are sometimes the differences between wins and losses. And I think, especially if Caleb Love tonight, but in general, I think Caleb Love is ultimately the guy that you want taking those shots for Arizona, or Jaden Bradley. But you got to love where these guards have the Arizona team. And on top of that, you have KJ Lewis as well, Kevin.
Ooh,
and just
the engine.
Yeah, a stat stuffing performance from Caleb Lewis tonight. I didn't realize, Kevin, we talked about the stock market. KJ Lewis, Kevin, he was
oh my God.
He was putting in work for that tonight when it came to the stock market. You read it off for us here.
The stock market of just KJ Lewis on his own compared to the rest of his team. KJ Lewis, 3 blocks. The rest of the team, 2 blocks. 2 steals for KJ Lewis. The rest of the team, 4 steals. Man.
This dude, he does everything, Kevin. He's the best defender on the team. He's received some criticism for his offensive performances at times. He's on the floor because he still contributes positively to the team at, no matter what, just given how good he is at defense, given his ability in transition. And I feel like the last couple of games, we've really seen him attack the basket. And when he's attacking the basket, Kevin, he is an unbelievable basketball player.
It feels like I want to be careful saying this because it's not like he doesn't play hard night in, night out, but it feels like the intensity from him.
You want to talk about like flipping a switch?
Yeah, like I feel like the intensity for KJ Lewis has really ratcheted up, and I think part of it. Well, I think honestly part of it has been his poor performances on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah,
like I think it's kind of like you guys must have forgot who I am. Like you guys must have forgot that you guys loved me when I was healthy and balling, and I know never been the best shooter, but I'm not this guy. Hey, my right wrist is smashed. And I've been playing for months with this.
Yeah.
Playing hard for months with this. And I'm not trying to, again, carry water for KJ, but like I feel like that doesn't, people talk about KJ shooting all the time, but not often do they also follow it up with, yeah, he's got a very seriously injured right wrist. So yeah, Damon, I think KJ Lewis's overall contribution to the game through injury has been truly impressive. And we also, we had some Conrad Martinez time tonight as well. We did. And we talk about contributors doing it all. Is there a guy that does it all more than Conrad Martinez?
No.
I don't think that there is, but there might be one guy who does it all a little bit more than Conrad Martinez and KJ Lewis, and that's Saul Bookman himself. We're going to talk to Saul after this quick break on the AZ Wildcats post-game show. Don't you go anywhere. Well, Damon, I have been purchasing a lot of sports cards recently.
You have indeed.
And that is quite the monetary investment. And sometimes when you're
sweet U of A ones.
Very sweet U of A ones. Autographed Caleb Love, Big Kahuna, autographed T-Mac, Big Kahuna. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about our friends over at Monarch Money. Because what they're helping me do is track where my money's going, right? I already have some subscription services. I got fast food that I purchase. I got regular groceries that I purchase. I purchase eggs. You know how that goes nowadays. It's hard to track where your money goes, and Monarch Money can help you do all of that when you don't have the time to. It is your financial, helper in that way. It helps me make track of my budget and where my money is going. So start managing your finances to build the life that you actually want. Because if you don't think you need to start building your finances, you're already behind. Because we need our money more than ever these days. And with all your accounts, credit cards, and investments in one place, you'll always know where your money stands without the hassle. Get control of your overall finances with Monarch Money. Use code PHNX at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com, code PHNX. They're named the Wall Street Journal's best budgeting app of 2025, y'all. So if you're trying to budget, there's no better place than Monarch Money. Use code PHNX tonight.
You're talking about, saving some money. I'll tell you another way that you can get the best bang for your buck, Kevin. That's with our friends over at Sanderson Ford. I love Sanderson Ford. I was thinking about the Starliner Diner earlier today, Kevin.
Starliner Diner.
I mean, Saul was out with us at the Starliner Diner. We can ask him when we bring him on air here in a second. Unbelievable food. Just a good old, bring back in time session at the Starliner Diner. And it's just one of the many things that they do at Sanderson Ford that are at an unbelievable level. It is truck month, and that means Arizona's largest Ford dealership is going to give you the best deals you could possibly imagine in terms of discounts on trucks in the month of March. Whether it's the Maverick, the Ranger, the F-150, the Super Duties, even the Broncos, they're qualifying as part of Truck Month. Check out these examples. Save up to $11,000 on F-150 trucks, plus 1.9 financing. Save up to $4,500 on Bronco Sports, plus 2.9 financing. Save up to $4,000 on Ranger trucks, plus 3.9 financing. Shop Sanderson Ford for the no hassle, no pressure, and no nonsense guarantee that they bring to the table every single time that they make a sale. 2024 models, finance offers for 36 months OAC through Ford Credit. Discounts include Ford rebates, Sanderson discounts, plus trade assistance and Conquest cash. You must qualify for offers expire 3/31.
That's March 31st. Saul Bookman!
We welcome on our guy, Saul Bookman. What up? Live from Kansas City. I last night, after we got off air, Saul, I think a little bit more beat down than while you were on air with us, but hopefully tonight's W against Texas Tech injected a little bit of juice into you. How you feeling after Arizona's big time W in the semifinal tonight, Saul?
I mean, I'm good. I'm ready for tomorrow. I'm already ready for tomorrow. I want to see them take on Houston. I'm conflicted, and I think maybe some of the Arizona fan base is in my head because a lot of people did not want Arizona to have to play 3 games in this tournament. And a lot of people might be salty if Arizona loses tomorrow. But they have solidified, I think, a top 4 seed.
Yes. Yes.
And I think if they beat Houston tomorrow, you could make an argument they could be a 3 seed.
Yeah.
Which is, again, the easiest the path can be. I'm always going to be in favor of. And plus, your first year, you come into the conference and win the Big 12. Get out of here. Get out of here. We run this shit. Let's go.
Well, Saul went New York on him. Saul had to go New York on him real quick. He's near he's near the Little Apple and just had to go for the Big Apple there. I don't know about that one, Saul.
I'll say this. I'll be like Tommy Lloyd. Tommy Lloyd said, if we're going to play a game, we want to win it.
Yes.
And that's kind of how I feel right now. Like if you're gonna come out here and make the effort, you might as well win it.
And look, I think like those fans that feel that way, like, do you really want to win the Big 12 tournament? Oh, and then they make it to the final, and then they're upset if they lose. But it's not even that. I feel like you're never gonna please those people, right? Because if Arizona had come out and lost to Texas Tech tonight and undermanned Texas Tech tonight, those same fans would have been like, how do you lose this game? Yeah, we get extra rest, but what is Tommy thinking? What is wrong with Caleb Love? And it would be this, we're worried about Arizona's show. But Arizona's showing proof of concept against some of the best teams in the nation, and people want less of that? I feel like you're just never going to make those people happy, so you can't let them get in your head, Saul. You play the teams in front of you and you try to beat them, and that's what Arizona can do. And it's not like they look tired. They look refreshed. So, yeah.
Erica Day puts here in the chat, hate to be that guy, but if this happens, Arizona, the whole state owns the Big 12. I mentioned this to Eric Ruby as I was walking into the studio here. I was like, how about a couple newcomers in Arizona State and Arizona walking into this conference and just maybe taking the whole thing over? I think that for nothing more than that, ASU got their W in the football side of things. I think we need our W tomorrow to counteract it and really feel better about ourselves. And you're right, Saul. Job's not finished. Kobe said it. Saul Bookman said it. Job's not finished tomorrow.
Oh, for sure. And also, ours was way harder to get than theirs. Come on. We had to play 20 games plus 3 tournament games against the best competition in the country.
That's the thing. That's where it's way more difficult. The Big 12 was a wide open football conference that, hypothetically, I think like 6 different teams could have played in the Big 12 championship. Maybe you could say the same thing about the basketball championship, but I think it's in the way that they're all legitimate national title contenders in their own regard. Whereas I think in football, you're hard pressed to say Iowa State, Kansas State, ASU, like those aren't really teams that were contending for a national title last year. But yes, I agree with you for that point. Arizona, kind of controls this game. I feel like start to finish. Texas Tech gets back into it at times, but then Arizona pulls back and gets the lead. I think personally, me and Kevin saw that Henri Veesaar, again, late in this game was somewhat of an X factor, kind of taking over. How did you feel about Henry's performance? Did you see him that way? And if not, who was your X factor tonight?
No, I thought he was fantastic. I mean, he had buckets when they needed buckets, especially when it looked like Tech was on the verge of possibly making a run. I felt like there was like maybe a 3 or 4 minute part of the game where if either team made a run, it was either going to be close or it was going to be a blowout for Arizona. And so Henry kind of he got you buckets when you needed to get buckets. And as a group, I thought Arizona played very well in the second half as a group. I think everybody sprinkled in a little bit of contribution. In the first half, Caleb Love kind of carried the day. He was fantastic. To start the second half, he hit that 3 right in front of me. His last 3 where he hit it, fading away, I was just like, okay, all right. Kevin, I'm not going to lie. For a little bit there, I thought he was going to give me the sign for a little bit. I thought he was going to give me a sign, but he didn't. But he did. Oh, by the way, he has the goods. Just so you know, like I hand delivered them, so he has them. Oh, you guys don't know about it?
No, I was like,
what are said goods?
I was like, what kind of parcel did you just drop off?
Oh, dang it, my bag's in the other room. But I actually made like big ass stickers off of your graphic, and I gave them to him, and his family has them. Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah. He said he got such a oh yeah, I got tons of them. Of them. Yeah. I've been handing them out to Arizona Wildcat fans all over the place. Yeah.
Damn.
All you got and if you see this and you were at the game and you didn't get one, whose fault is that? All you gotta do is see me. So
hit him up. Well,
Yeah,
we
but
do-
anyway, yeah,
what'd
I
Super
thought he was just great
It
overall.
was,
Yeah.
I made Saul a graphic for the Caleb Forever / Wakanda Forever mashup that we accidentally stumbled upon a couple of post games ago, and apparently Saul just ran with it, and I'm happy about it. I love that.
I had shirts, Kev. I had shirts, but damn Amazon, man, damn Amazon. I don't know what happened with Amazon, but I'm gonna go ahead and blame the tariffs for right now because why not?
By the way,
Saul went full court press on the Caleb Forever. I love it. I love it.
By the way, I just gave a Wakanda Forever right there, and then I was like, wait, am I allowed to do that? So I guess now I'm gonna throw it to you guys. Saul and Kevin, is that something that I am allowed to do? I'm just trying to be an ally here, so just tell
Damon
me how best I can do
Forever. Yeah, you're allowed to do it.
In this regard, you are honorary Wakanda Forever. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Yes, you're allowed inside of the dome.
You
or
heard
whatever
it.
they had
And
there.
here we call it Caleb Forever, or we can even call it Wildcat Forever, whatever you want to say.
Wildcat Forever is kind of fire.
We'll adopt it. There we go.
Yeah, but we were talking about Henri Veesaar, and you spoke with Henri Veesaar as well, and we spoke about how Henri Veesaar at times this season hasn't dominated his matchups in the way that I think we expect him to as fans and as analysts in a way as well. But he did a great job against an undermanned Texas Tech team in the front court tonight. Houston is not that way. What did he have to say? And I know you kind of talked to him about that. What was your impression about what he said about Houston?
Yeah, so I talked to the guys I talked to were Trey Townsend, Henri Veesaar, talked to Conrad Martinez, and I talked to Carter Bryant. Yeah, and I asked them all except for Conrad. I didn't ask Conrad. I'm sorry, Conrad. I didn't. I don't know if you're going to play tomorrow, but the three guys I asked them specifically. What did you learn from the Houston matchup, and what are you looking forward to moving into that game tomorrow? And this is what they had to say.
It's a good question. I think just at the end of the game, we have to stay more poised and kind of do our scout, execute our scout better. Not give the guys shots that they want taking shots, and make the people shoot that make their 4th, 5th option take the shots, not their first 2.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an all-out dogfight the whole game. They're a really talented team, really physical team, and they play just as hard as anybody in the country. So we got to take that 35 minutes and raise it up to 40. Just trust our guys, trust the game plan, the scout that we have, and execute it down the stretch. Because, like you said, even though we may have been up 35 minutes of the game, it all comes down to that final 4 under the 4 media timeout. So just locking in and having the guys play with that mentality that it is do or die.
All right. First of all, Saul, our guy Trey Townsend. Can you ask him about his skincare routine?
Glowing
as well, because the man was shining. But not in an oily way, in an or a glow way.
I mean, it wasn't even like a skincare routine thing, Kevin. I was saying just like the guy looks like he looks like he's on the moon.
He does.
He looks like a different man.
But I wanted to ask Saul real quick before I wanted to ask you, Saul, specifically about when Trey was talking about taking it from 35 to 40 minutes. And Damon and I were kind of talking about whether or not Arizona was a team that could just flip the switch or not, right? And so what kind of goes into a team's mindset of, hey, we need to play a full 40 minutes, even though, we've been trying to do that all year and it hasn't really come to fruition. So how does Arizona flip that switch? And did their answers kind of indicate to you that their mindset has shifted in the tournament?
Yeah, you got to be more intentional, right? In the last 5 minutes of the game, you have to be as aware as possible as to what is going on the court. You cannot afford to slip up and give a team like Houston their first and second option, as Henry pointed out, right? So when you're on the court and you're going through it, really that last timeout, really the 8-minute timeout, because you don't know how long play is going to last going in under 4, right? So you can't just wait until like 2:30 and then be like, okay, guys, really, this is what we need to do, but it's already a tie game, or maybe they've gone on a run, right? So in that 8-minute timeout, like, hey, this is what we need to do. Hey, guys, remember, we've been here before. We remember our mistakes, and now we're going to capitalize and clean those up. You got to play intentional. You got to play with purpose, and you got to make sure that you're fundamentally sound across the board. Take a good shot, a quality shot, and don't be afraid to make a play. That's the thing. Don't take a fadeaway jumper 3 in the corner just because, hey, I'm trying to make a play. No. That's not what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, if the play's there to make the play. Because Houston is far too good with their hands and athletically for you to just be, lollygagging passes like we saw a couple times in tonight's game. Like some of those bad Arizona tendencies came back again and allowed Texas Tech to really stay in this game. I feel like this game could have been a 20-point blowout, but Arizona kind of let them stay in it because of the offensive glass and really the turnovers in the first half. So I think Arizona's going to learn from their mistakes. I don't know if they'll win tomorrow. I would love to say, yeah, absolutely. But Houston is just the way they dominated BYU today. They are the most physically imposing. They're different than they were a couple years ago. They were physically imposing. They are athletically or physically not really imposing. You don't look at them and be like, oh my gosh, they're going to just destroy us. It's not like that. They're so good. They are so good at getting their hands in the passing lanes, deflecting balls. You think you got a nice open layup? No, you don't. It's going to be deflected or it's going to be nipped. And so you have to make sure that everything you do is crisp and sound, and you got to play at a very high level.
Saul, you mentioned Houston's defensive acumen there and how active they are in the passing lanes. We do have more post-game sound, but I wanted to talk to you about the defense that Arizona played tonight, the strategy they implemented against Toppin. I thought their passing lane defense, the doubles on the dribble when Toppin had it, were incredible. Can you speak to kind of like how active Arizona was defensively in person, and do you think that this is something we'll continue to see, that championship caliber defense show up?
Here's another sign for you, Kevin. You ready?
Oh,
this is what we call on purpose. On purpose. All right.
On purpose. On
purpose. Yes.
On purpose.
That means they had a plan coming in and they executed it. And they didn't really care if it was going to cost them in another area because honestly, listen, Tech was down. They were down, and you got to take advantage of teams when they're down. That's just the name of the game. If Arizona was missing 2 players, Tech would have done the same exact thing to them as well. So you got to play with intention. I love the way they came out aggressive to kind of set the tone. And they did that a little bit yesterday as well. They set the tone. Hunter Dickinson, they doubled him right away, right off the bat. It was almost to just kind of get them into the game. Be active, get them into the game, get fluid. Again, just like last night, tonight they come out, they ball right off the bat. They're feeling pretty good. They're up 9 before you blink your eye. So I think tomorrow the difference is Houston doesn't have one guy. So there is no one person to be able to get you into the game to double team and try to take the ball out of their hands. Like everybody could kill you on Houston. So what are you going to do against Houston? And basically you got to just be fundamentally sound. You got to talk, you got to communicate. One of the cool things about being courtside as opposed to up at the top of the first level at McHale is you get to hear a lot more chatter. Mm-hmm. And what I love about Arizona is they are talking
when it's empty, especially when the arena is empty. So
stop. And so you can hear everything that's going on the court. They're talking, they're communicating. Trey Townsend is loud as hell. Trey Townsend is one of the loudest ones on the court. He's really communicating at a high level. So everybody is doing a great job. And again, that connectivity is what you need to be able to get to a next level. What I'm encouraged about is Arizona starting to play good, solid offensive basketball. Defensively tomorrow, this is where they need to prove that they can take that next step defensively and hold Houston to under, let's say, 70 points. I think if they hold them to under 70 points, they have a really good chance to win. But they're going to have to score too. So that's not as easy as it sounds against Houston either.
I would say that's fairly pace dependent as well. Like in the last game, Arizona versus Houston, I want to say it was like 62-59 or somewhere in that range. Yeah. And both offenses played fairly efficient offense, but it was just kind of a slow game in just the way that it played out. And Houston, one of the slowest. It's going to be different
teams tomorrow.
Yeah, one of the slowest teams in the country. Arizona, on the other end, one of the teams that wants to play probably at the fastest tempo in the entire country. It's kind of like a yin and a yang thing.
It is.
And a battle of the mismatches there. But what tempo are they going to play at? I think that's another aspect of this game tomorrow. That's gonna be interesting to watch. Like who's setting the tempo between Houston, between Arizona. You talked to Carter Bryant, Saul, and Carter was had some things to say about playing in his first ever Big 12 championship game. So let's hear from Carter.
It's a big deal. I mean, in high school, I didn't get to win that many. I don't think I won a single championship. So for this to be my first year in college and have an opportunity to win a championship at this level, especially in the Big 12, is very big for me. I'm grateful. I'm excited for it.
Hey, listen, it could be their first game, their first year in the Big 12, and they could very well come away with a Big 12 championship, and that is phenomenal. That is great, and that's Arizona basketball. But again, this is where I keep going back to. Like, I don't know, man. I need to stop listening to Arizona fans in general, because and I'm not trying to besmirch them, but like, they've kind of taken a little bit of the flavor out of the conference tournament. Like, this is a big deal. It is. And maybe people are feeling like it's not that big of a deal. I'd rather them do well in the tournament. Well, yeah. But we've lost in the conference tournament before. We've won the conference tournament before. And it doesn't really matter, especially not in the last 24 years. Okay. It doesn't matter. You might as well win the thing. And if you beat top-notch competition, it can only build your confidence as you move forward to the next round or 2 or 3 or hopefully 4. So I'm encouraged by the way this team is playing right now. I'm looking forward to their matchup tomorrow, but more importantly, win or lose tomorrow, I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of this team. This team, and much like Houston, and man, I was on Facebook today, and which is like
strong start to a sentence. We're on a strong start.
Well, listen, you would love to say Facebook is like the abyss and like just the armpit of social media, but so is Twitter. So
yeah, Twitter has
I don't know what we're talking about. Yeah, it's awful. It's toxic as hell. What I would say is that Houston started off 3-4 as well, or 4-3, one of those two, right? And then all of a sudden they never lost again except for one time against Texas Tech. So, like, and you think everybody was calling for Kelvin Sampson's head after that start? No. I saw a post when Tommy Lloyd was 4-5, calling for his head. So done with this guy. The guy's got the most wins in college basketball history in the first 4 years of his coaching career. What are we talking about? So,
Saul, Tommy Lloyd, his 109 wins entering play tonight in his first 4 seasons are the 4th most in NCAA history by a power conference head coach. With the win tonight, he moved into a tie for 3rd place with Eric Musselman. Who's that guy? Eric? Oh, he's a pretty good coach, huh?
He's all right.
Yeah.
He's all right. Who's number 1 on the list?
I don't know. I just had the stat here. I didn't have the list.
Oh, okay. All right. I got you. But I'm sure he's a good coach.
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't some flash in the water. I love how they say, "Oh, there's 20 other coaches we can get." No, there isn't. There isn't. Sean Miller didn't come out and do that.
No. And Saul, I think part of what your point here that you're making is that, and I think part of what Arizona fans are feeling is that Arizona fans are so used to the Pac-12 tournament, which generally was an easier walk to get the ring at the end of the day.
100%, Kevin.
And I think that they're so sensitized to that they're almost desensitized to winning conference titles. And the meaning behind it, because this is a totally different beast. Like, doing this is a genuine accomplishment. If Arizona can rattle off X amount of Big 12 championships in X amount of years in the Big 12, that's a real accomplishment that should really go on the resume of the people that did it.
Agreed.
And whether you go to the Elite Eight, whether you go to the Final Four or not, if you're the Big 12 champion, that says something about you as a basketball team. So I think that's kind of partially what they're feeling. Are they crazy for calling for Tommy Lloyd's head? 1,000%. But I think that they're really feeling like, this is not as easy as the Pac-12. I'm not used to this.
You just need some nuance there, because like I've been the biggest, and you've heard me, Kevin, you're my co-host. Like, I've talked about how meaningless the Pac-12 was to me in basketball for years, because I knew that this team was just going to run through it. It's a cakewalk, right? Like, Arizona's going to, win the Pac-12 tournament 75%. They're going to win the regular season 90%. Like, it meant nothing. But this is so different. The Big 12 is the premier basketball conference in America. Like, being able to knock off a Houston in your first year in the conference, just to show all the rest of your opponents that, like, you're here and you're a legit program that needs to be taken very seriously. Like, I think that's definitely something special. And to act like that means nothing is, I think it lacks the nuance and thought process of, like, the change in the conferences. I agree that I think it's like these people are stuck in the mindset of being in the Pac-12, but it's genuinely so much different.
And plus, look at the tournament game, right? You have 2 teams that are playing in this game for the first time. I'm saying you're really looking for 2 new champions in this game, right? 2 programs that have been in the Big 12 for less than 3 years in Houston's case, and this is their first year in Arizona's case, right? And so this is a big deal, right? I think that is not something that should go under discussed in all of this, right? And I think part of making a deep run, and part of proving that you are the best team in the Big 12 is bouncing back against teams that have kind of bounced you out of here before, right? Houston's one of these teams. Saul, I know you spoke to Trey Townsend about the ability to bounce back, and this is what Trey Townsend had to say about Arizona bouncing back.
I mean, just seeing the ball go in the hoop is definitely, a big thing for me. Just trying to get to my spots. My teammates just set me up, and, they never lost confidence in me. I may have dipped a little in the confidence bucket myself, but, building that back, seeing some shots go in, and just getting back to, how I was playing before, it's been good. And I've honestly just been trying to go out there and help us win it any way I can, whether it is scoring or rebounding, just doing whatever.
Rumor on the street is as soon as it turned March, Trey Townsend started to come alive. What do you think when you hear that?
For me, it's just like this is my last time playing in March, my last time playing college basketball. So these games are all really win or go home. And, fortunately, like I said, we put ourselves in a good spot. So, win or lose this championship, we'll play in March Madness. But the mindset I have is like, once I lose, I'm done playing college basketball. So I'm just trying to spread that to these guys and, go into every game playing like it is the last one.
First time in the Big 12. First trip to the conference championship game. What does that mean to you and also to the team?
I mean, like guys are saying, it's an incredible thing. First time in this conference to make it this far. Obviously, we don't want to just make it this far. We want to go and win tomorrow. So we're not, getting too ahead of ourselves. Obviously, we're appreciative of what we've done. We're proud of it, but it's not the final goal. Obviously, we're here to win. So we're going to go back, prepare, and come out tomorrow to win this thing.
If you want more of our post-game analysis and you're watching with one of our streaming services, please go over to gophnx.com. The party continues over there. We're going to have more Saul Bookman, which is what the people want and need, and so we're going to deliver that. But Saul, Trey Townsend spoke to the idea of bouncing back, but he also spoke to March Trey Townsend, tournament Trey Townsend.
Mm-hmm.
And,
the big J questions.
I thought it was, the big J questions. I thought it was sad that he alluded to the fact that once they lose, he's done in college basketball. And I hadn't thought about that. This being the last year of tournament Trey Townsend, how crushed are we all going to be?
The last year of tournament Caleb Love as well.
No, true. I
won't be crushed at all.
But I've been thinking about that all year. I've been thinking about, but like the secondary, bittersweet. You know what I mean?
Anyway. I mean, even if they cut down the nets, I'm still going to be like, damn, we don't get to see.
Yeah,
we don't get to see Trey and Caleb anymore. Listen. Trey's been through it this year. We talked, on McHale Madness and even this morning on Outside Shots about just the vitriol that goes on social media and people thinking that these players, because they're getting paid, should be living up to X, Y, and Z expectations, but not realizing like they still haven't lived life. They've lived life as a student athlete, which is a completely different world than the real world. And people, I feel like a lot of times are just projecting their own insecurities and their own hatred in different ways towards these athletes. And I just think that's a really unfortunate situation. Like, if Caleb Love made $25 million this year to play basketball at the University of Arizona, whose fault is that? It's not his.
I don't know, but I want my cut as a St. Louis, and I want my cut.
It's the fault of the person that gave him that money. That's just all it is. And the market dictates that. And so, that's my takeaway is that's why I haven't really gone hard on Trey Townsend. Yeah, he was bad at times this year. He was. But what's the point of tweeting at him? Again, like they always say, like if you wouldn't say it to their face, then don't say it at all. And all these keyboard warriors, they would never say some of this stuff to their face. They wouldn't. They absolutely wouldn't. Because they know they might get punched in the face. And that's just what it is.
Bang.
And like, maybe it'll take that one time for somebody to just be like, hey, and then just whack. You know what I mean?
A real Russell Westbrook of the game. Where's Russell Westbrook at UCLA when you need him?
I feel Russell Westbrook right now. Like I feel why he was so frustrated, so angry at so many opportunities. Like I want to go back to one thing too. I was thinking about, just in general, like just enjoying life, right? I'm 45 years old. That's not considered like super old or anything like that, but it's not young.
Correct.
You guys are young, but like you don't know. You don't know. Oliver Miller just passed away. He was 54.
Damn.
I don't know how long I have on this earth. You don't know how much you have on this earth. So why can't I just enjoy the games as they come about and enjoy these opportunities as they go along instead of sitting there and just picking apart everything that I hate about what's going on instead of seeing some of the positivity that's going on. Like there's so many positive storylines that are going on right now. Caleb Love had an up and down year all year long. And now he's putting it together at the right time. Trey Townsend looks like he's got his groove back. He's playing at a high level right now. Like he's doing everything the team's asking him to do. Those are two great storylines. You look at Carter Bryant and the sound that we've gotten from him in the last couple of days and like really tapping into his mind. By the way, talked to Carter Bryant today and told him finally, Kevin, that my parents are deaf. We talked a little bit. Guess what? Both of our dads tried out for NBA teams and both of them got cut because they were deaf. Or not his dad, sorry, his grandfather. Grandfather. Yeah, right? So, like, his grandfather tried out for the Clippers. My dad tried out for the Celtics. They both got cut. And the feeling was that because they were deaf. My dad's in the Deaf Basketball Hall of Fame.
I know he was like Celtic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was like one of the legendary deaf basketball players of all time. Like, it's not like, that's a highly visible thing, but it's
cool.
just,
that's
what he was.
Yeah.
He was, my dad could get buckets. He was dropping like 45 points a game in high school. Like, he was a killer. So like I watch these guys and I watch this team and I watch how they go through the process. And it's just like, they're just having fun, man. You look at them in the back, they're all just having fun. And I'm sitting here and I got to open up Twitter and I see, oh, this guy, he's such a POS and blah, blah, blah. We do this. Like, dude, kick rocks and go jump in the ocean or something, man. Like, go cool off. Because it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, because whether they get bounced in the first round or they go all the way to the national championship, at the end of the year, you're still going to find something to be unhappy about because you're just a bitter, upset person. That's just what it is. So I can sit here and be like, you know what? I really enjoyed this team. I enjoyed how they bounced back from a 4-5 record and they balled out in the Big 12, one of the toughest conferences in the country. They went 14-6 and they did everything we asked them to do. They proved the haters wrong. And now they're in the conference championship in their very first year, overcoming teams like Kansas, the legendary Kansas, who has a damn home court advantage here in Kansas City. And we still whooped that ass. Like, I don't want to hear it. I just don't want to hear it. I want to enjoy what's left of my life. I'm not going to say that. Like, I'm just saying, like, I want to enjoy this, right? Like, and I think more people need to take a step back and just enjoy these moments, especially when they're on high level. So tomorrow, if they cut down the nets, I'm going to be excited for them because they deserve it. And if they don't, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to be excited about the tournament. And who knows what's going to happen in the tournament, but they busted their ass all season long and they deserve that respect. I don't give a damn if they got paid $1 million or $1 million cents. They deserve the love of the Arizona fan. And that's all I got to say.
Talk your talk, Saul. Talk your talk. You brought it from the philosophical to the sport, even brought some history into it that we didn't know about. Got some Carter Bryant introspection, threw some shots at some people. I loved that. I loved that monologue.
My biggest takeaway from it, Kevin, was that guys like me and you who would never say a bad word about Trey Townsend all season long.
Yep.
All we brought was positivity and sunshine and rainbows to the table regarding Trey Townsend. Yep. And that's why we're the number one Trey Townsend podcast in America.
Never once stopped believing in his ability to produce.
Never wavered.
This system
never quit.
No.
Never let go of the rope, I think is a good way of putting it. But in all seriousness, Trey Townsend, like I think on the other end of that, like we've had our fun with Trey Townsend. Tyler Warden puts here in the chat that he was going to push back a little bit on you, Saul, and just saying that like there's no need to be mean and hurtful. And I think that like with Trey Townsend, there was a point for me and Kevin where we never crossed that line. And on top of that, we have been the absolute happiest people in this fan base that Trey Townsend has had this resurgence recently. And that's what I think Arizona fans, where there's some people that need to, find that perspective, is like having talking about Caleb Love all season long is what it is. You better be his biggest cheerleader when he's dropping 27 points in the semifinal of the Big 12 tournament. Like the positivity needs to be as loud as the negativity, I think. And with a guy like Trey Townsend, with a guy like Caleb Love, like, it's just incredible and fun to watch them turn it around the way that they have.
I have no problem with criticizing constructively. Yeah. I have no problem with that at all. But if you're just gonna trash a player and then talk and then take it across that line and try to pull him down as a human being, fuck you. How about that?
Wow.
Well, damn.
Our friends, our streaming partners will love that one. So,
damn.
Yeah, it's all right. We're past the hour mark. We're good.
I think we're good.
Outlaw country. Yeah. Outlaw country. Hey, all right.
Saul's gonna start trying to come on specifically after an hour on purpose.
We're like, hey, Saul. I'm like, texting Saul. I'm like, hey, Saul, you ready to hop on? He's like, nah, you're
Wait,
still at 55.
give me 15 more minutes.
I got 5 more minutes. Yeah, I got 5 more minutes.
After dark. I love it.
Also, I really wanted to give a shout out to everybody in the chat who's been sending messages. We appreciate each and every one of you for hopping in the stream tonight. Extra special shout out to our guy, AZ Catch G. You sent in a buzzer beater of our super chat last night and we missed it, but we're not missing this one. You might be already on your way to get some Spinato's pizza, but you will see us tomorrow on the post game. We appreciate you, AZ Catch G, for always popping out to our streams. Sir. Good night, AZ Catch G.
I think we have some of the best followers. Point blank. I think they've supported us through some kind of tough times in the last couple of months, right? And listen, there's no hard feelings about anything. It's just we want to do a great job. Everybody else that's in this space, other podcasts as well, want to do a great job. They want to represent the fan base the way that they think they should represent, and that's great. Like that's the great thing about all this is that like shit. What 3-4 years ago? There wasn't any podcast on Arizona, or there might have been a few, but now there's more, and we're all trying to share the love. And like I'm blessed to be able to be here to give behind the scenes access and looks and all this other stuff. And I'm blessed to be able to work with you two, and I cherish that every single day. And so should you. So the people you work with, give them a hug, say, hey, I'm glad I get to come to work and work with you today, because if I didn't get to come to work with you today. It'd be a less great day. So
no, yeah.
And honestly,
Saul is bringing it.
I was about to say
this is a sermon.
Yeah, to get philosophical.
I saw the Ted Lasso season 4 announcement, and now I got some Ted Lasso in me right now. I just want to. Hey, I'm hyped. Let's go. Anyway, Damon, to answer your question, I'm on a 9 right now because I feel like I just juiced myself up to a 9. So I want to go grab a beer before the stupid bars close down at 1 o'clock.
You got about
I appreciate you guys. Tomorrow is a big day. So let's enjoy it.
Huge day.
Let's have a great time. There we go.
And if you want more coverage from Saul _Bookman on Twitter as well, doing great stuff, exclusive stuff you can't find anywhere else right now. We appreciate you for all the wise words tonight, Saul, all the analysis, the post-game sound, all of it. It was great. As always, we appreciate you, Saul Bookman.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah. Peace.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Saul.
Get yourself a beer.
Yeah.
That was Saul Bookman, of course, bringing you all the top coverage from Kansas City. Boots on the ground at the Big 12 tournament. You know we got a presence out there, Kevin, because we provide the all-encompassing, the best coverage of Arizona athletics in the business, whether that's, basketball, football, all the way down to, gymnastics, track and field. We like to show everybody a little bit of love, Kevin. So, I was trying to...
I'm saying the list gets longer, buddy.
Oh, for sure. But they're up there with the basketball and football.
Oh, yeah. The list is non-ordered. It's just like a grocery list. Chicken's no more important than steak. You just need both. You know what I mean? Fair. So
this is true. The Arizona Wildcats, of course, win tonight. If you are just tuning in, where you been? But
for real, we're happy you're here, though.
You just missed an all-time sermon, existential, from our guy Saul Bookman. Beautiful, beautiful words. And I think this is just going into tomorrow, Kevin, good vibes, right?
Great vibes.
Saul has us, feeling the love, feeling the positivity a little bit. Me and you, I think we've been riding with this team all season long.
Yep.
A little bit more, I feel like we've kept steady as the season's gone on.
We've tried. It's been hard at times.
It has
been. Especially for me, because I try not to be reactive and whatnot, but also it's hard, man, when your team that you expect to be in the Final Four preseason starts 4-5 and it looks really bad.
Yeah.
It is hard to not just jump to the other side and say, I've lost faith completely.
Well,
I did tweet as little as a couple weeks ago, this team might have 2 wins in March in the tank. I didn't say definitively. I'm not trying to skate out of it, but I'm just saying what it was. I said I was scared of that. And hey, things change, information changes. In my opinion, might change too. But
it's such
we've never lost faith that they could turn it around, Damon.
It's such a good thing, Kevin, that we were not doing a show when this team was 4-5.
Oh, man.
Because I would have probably said some nasty things about this squad. But
we would never say anything bad about Trey Townsend.
Instead, I can say I've never given up. I've never let go of the rope. And I held
the line.
I held the line, if you will, Kevin. I think it's a great way of putting it. Whoever came up with that was a philosopher.
I think it was a wise one of my coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a wise, argumentative coworker.
Sure, certainly. Who could that be? But of course, Arizona, I'm feeling great about tomorrow's game. Win or lose, I know Saul talked about it a little bit, but I think the perspective needs to be had of where this team was at one point, 4-5 in non-conference play, getting all the way to the Big 12 championship game, playing a team like Houston, who has been so consistent, so damn good all year long, Kevin. I think it's overall, it's been a positive season, and hopefully this builds momentum headed into the real tournament. But damn, do I want a win tomorrow, Kevin, to just kind of cap this first year in the Big 12 off.
You got anything else to say tonight? Because I was gonna wrap it up on a certain note. I didn't want to cut you off from saying what you had to say.
Kevin's trying to rush me out.
I was moved, Damon.
Yeah,
I was gonna add. I just didn't want to cut you off.
That was profound.
Ridiculous. He just flew right over that.
And Kevin started playing the Oscars
Let's wrap
acceptance
it up.
speech music.
Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. No, but
and just one more real quick. I want to thank my parents real quick before we get out of here.
I want to thank my dog Jack. Never frowns at me when I get home. But no, look. To wrap this up, I think it's important to talk about everything we just spoke about. Very sentimental podcast tonight, but Caleb Love said it best. They asked him after the game, what his mindset was heading into the conference title game, heading into the Houston rematch as well. Caleb Love implied that, they're playing for something bigger than themselves. They're playing for the alumni. They're playing for us, the fans. They're playing for you guys at home as well. And I think that the team knowing that, I think that you could read that as like pressure or whatnot, but also, what, Damon? What's happening here?
The last comment.
Yo, that's crazy, Varn.
Varn giving us Ernie and
That's
Bert
wild.
vibes from
That
Sesame
is so wild.
Street.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I watched
I
Sesame
kind of
Street.
see it though.
I mean, sure. I don't. Who's who? What are the characters like known for? We'll have to do some
Bert's
research
a little
after
bit
the
more
show.
cranky, so I feel like I kind of get that MO, and you can kind of take the over positive.
My name's Ernie.
Yeah, you do kind of give Ernie vibes as well, for sure.
Damn, that one really almost made
Ernie
me curse.
Thomas.
Damn. And my whole point is ruined. But no, I'm kidding. In all seriousness, Caleb Love, he said they're playing for something bigger than themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really important, that to know this team has not lost perspective on what the ultimate goal is, and also how important it would be to the city of Tucson to bring home more success for this Arizona basketball team. And he ended it by saying, we got to put our hard hats on tomorrow. And I love that. Because you know what that means we're getting tomorrow?
The Gritty Boys.
You read it. The Gritty Boys. We're going to get it tomorrow. And I'm so excited for the Gritty Boys. Mr. Tyler Warden says, I've never heard them referred to in that order before. It's Bert and Ernie.
Damn straight.
That makes...
Show some respect.
Saul is Big Bird. Oh, damn. That's
Bookman.
fire. Yo, who's Kyle? Who's Kyle as a Sesame Street character? I don't know the depth.
Who's like a kind of a quiet character? I mean, I think
Yeah.
There isn't a good one, honestly.
Yeah, it's like
Are all the characters bad? Is that what I'm learning?
you're too positive for Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah.
I'm not that.
You could give a little bit of that vibe, but
Jelly and peanut
you
butter.
are too overtly positive. I think it's just a little bit more monotone rather than negative. So it's not quite Oscar the Grouch vibes.
No, he's definitely not a grouch.
I'm not a Cookie Monster either. So.
No, certainly not. Cookie Monster is Eric Ruby.
Oh, okay.
That's all I hear. Cookie Monster is Eric Ruby.
In reality, it's Espo because he has the voice that he does. So if we're actually casting the cast,
it's more just Eric Ruby's.
No, you're right. You're on the money. You're right.
His ability to just the Suns lost by 45 to the Pelicans, and
welcome to the PHNX Suns show. We are discussing if Devin Booker can save the state of Arizona from state tax debt tonight.
It's like if you put a jar of cookies in front of Cookie Monster.
Yes, no, I love Eric and I love our Suns show. But yeah, no, certainly Mr. Spin Cycle, Eric Ruby in a way. We love him, but he might be the Cookie Monster. He just might be. Damon, it was a great game. It was a great show. And I think we're gonna get out of here. On that note, right? On the Sesame
Kevin.
Street note, I think we're going to get out of here.
That's a little fun Sesame Street comparison for the people here on our way out. Kevin, it was a solid show. Kyle, thank you so much for producing today. You can follow me at Damon Dog. That's DAWG. You can follow my guy Kevin Thomas at Kevo Post. That's KEVOPOSTS. You can follow Saul Bookman at Saul_Bookman for all of that Kansas City coverage that he's been crushing out there. Big props to Saul. I think he's been a big help to us, and it's just been an added angle to our coverage. It's been great throughout this Big 12 tournament. Arizona gears up for a big time matchup tomorrow against Houston in the championship. Kevin, tip off, I believe, at 3 p.m.
I also believe it is at 3 p.m. I also believe that.
We are going to be giving you all of our coverage, as always, post-game show for that Houston game. Make sure you guys tune in for that about 15 after tip. I'm Oscar. June
My
says
mom
I'm
just
Oscar.
fried you. That's crazy.
I don't think I'm that.
I don't think you're
negative,
Oscar
though.
either. Mom, he's really not that negative. I promise. Anyway, continue your breakdown.
I feel like maybe when you juxtapose me next to Kevin, it makes me look so negative.
Yes.
But that's because someone has to be the straight guy
Yeah,
here.
no, literally.
We can't have two guys being like, and if you say anything about Tommy Lloyd, by golly, I'm going to show up on your doorstep and give you a well-established 50 reason list why you're wrong.
And also, Erica mentions in the chat, we are looking into doing some pregame shows for tournament games, maybe tomorrow, maybe not tomorrow, but
I heard Erica Day had a hand in potentially planning said.
Yeah, it was her.
Show.
It was actually Erica's idea. The bright idea from Erica.
Then here's
Day.
an idea from your guy Damon Fairall here. We're gonna get Erica on the pregame show.
Got to.
Yeah,
got to.
Her idea. Welcome to the pregame show. Kevin Thomas, Damon Fairall, Erica Day tomorrow. Be there, be square. Pregame show for the Houston championship game in the Big 12. And post-game show at 15 minutes after the final buzzer. We will be there. Make sure you give us a follow at PHNX_Wildcats, PHNX_sports. Subscribe to the channel. Like this video if you haven't done so already. Take a real quick before we get out of here. Our Die Hard sale has been extended through today. $36 if you're not a Die Hard already. Our shirts are $35. Guys, on the Go PHNX locker, we have Arizona Wildcats merch, including a loyalty shirt for Noah Fafita, Tedero McMillian. Cause out, BTFD, bear the fuck down. Hey, we're in the post-game show.
Country!
Yeah, we're letting it fly here. And an All for the A shirt. Make sure you guys check out our shirts. If you become a diehard, you pay just $1 extra, and you get that free piece of merchandise,
That's
Kevin.
it?
So it's well worth it.
100 pennies?
And that doesn't include all the other benefits that you get from being in our one of our diehards. You get in our Discord. All sorts of other benefits as well.
I'm cooking up some really cool stuff for Die Hard only, by the way. We're ideating some more ways to make it even better to be a Die Hard. So
get that.
Now's
shirt,
the best time to get in.
Get that Die Hard membership. Get that $1 shirt. Get Kevo's analysis as part of it. Cherry on top. Become a Die Hard today. That's going to do it from us. Be there tomorrow for pregame show versus Houston. Peace. Bear down.
And go Cats!
We all silly like the mayor.